Okay, so we just ask that everybody stay on mute throughout the webinar until the end. The last 20 to 30 minutes will be a Q&A so that you can ask any questions that you have related to anything I've gone over, anything else that you have questions about. So if you could just save all of your questions until the end, we'll make sure to get them answered. So I am going to share my screen. And we're going to start by going through our Florida HOSA website. So some of you might have already been on here and looking around. And again, this webinar is directed towards our new advisors. I do see some returning advisors on here, so welcome. And welcome to all of our new advisors. We have a lot to cover. There's a lot to know, so just be patient as I go through all of this. But if you've already visited our website, I'm sure you've seen some of the things I'm going to cover. If you have not, this is what our website looks like. It is flhosa.org. On the main page, we have our rotating banner right here. And we will have all of our important information posted on the rotating banner. Any information that we want to make sure you all see will be on this rotating banner. The Welcome Back Rally, we will get to a little bit later, obviously this advisor webinar. So again, all important information will be posted on the rotating banner. I wanted to go through a couple of the tabs up here. So we have our About Us. The first in the drop-down list is our board of directors. So if you need to know who's on the board, our regional advisors are all listed too, so you can find which region you're in and then who your regional advisors are if you don't already know. So the second in the list is the regional map. So this will show you which region you are in. We have 11 different regions. So once you figure out what region you are in, like I said, you can contact your regional advisor if you need additional information. A lot of them should probably have already been reaching out regarding the new year, the regional conferences, things like that. We also have our state officers right here. You can take a look through here. This might be of interest to your members as well, but we have a little bit of information about each state officer that you can look through here. Resources and publications. The third is the most important. It's our calendar of events. So please make sure you're looking through this. It is subject to change. But most of these dates are pretty final. So please make sure you have this, bookmark it, print it out, whatever you need to do. There are 3 pages, so just note that. This is all of our important deadlines, online registration deadlines, postmark deadlines for all of your registration paperwork and payments, all of our important conferences. This is all listed here, so please make sure you all are aware and familiar with this calendar of events. We also, the fourth in the dropdown, have the advisor teacher resources page. Again, this will be where this recorded webinar will be posted. We do have some advisor webinars from last year posted here if you want to reference there, but we will have, once this is edited and finalized, we will have that posted here under advisor webinars for you to watch at a later date if you need to. Scrolling a little bit down on the list, we have our newsletters. This is also might be informational for your students to look through. We have 4 newsletters that we post each year. So please make sure you're looking through that. It has a lot of important information that you'll need to know in the newsletters as well. And we distribute the newsletters to the regional advisors who then will distribute it on to you. But if you ever need to look through them and can't find their email, it will be posted here. Conferences. I will come back to this. This is a very important tab. This has all of our conferences. We're going to be going through all of these, well, most of these pages today. But I do want to quickly go to our Contact Us. We have this policy listed, so please make sure that you mention it to your members. Our policy is that official HOSA communication is with advisors only. We have 17,000 members. There's no way that our 4-person staffed office could handle emails from members. And so if your member does email us, we will respond and let them know this policy and CC you on it. We do not answer any students. And the reason for that is because there's so much information when a student member is reaching out to us. It's usually about a conference or a competitive event or something. And so if we were to answer the student, that would be great for the student. The student would get the information, but then that rarely ever gets back to the actual chapter and the other members within the chapter. So with keeping the official communication between advisors, so me, the state advisor, the regional advisors, and then you all, the local chapter advisors, it helps so that the information is then passed on to the chapter and the members within it. So if you need our address, it's listed here, our phone, email, and fax if needed. And then if you scroll down, here is our state staff. We are small but mighty. There is 4 of us. I'm Jacque, the Executive Director, State Advisor. Lloyd DeVault, who's on the call, is our System Manager. Sandra Lynn Rezak is our Business and Finance Manager, and Mandy Mamolo, who is also on the call, is our Office Manager / Executive Assistant. So if you need assistance with anything, please let one of us know and we'll help you as soon as we can. Okay, so back to conferences. We have our regional conferences, our Welcome Back Rally, our Fall Leadership Development Academy, our State Leadership Conference, and then our International Leadership Conference. So these are all of the conferences that we have throughout the year. First, I'm going to go into affiliation and then into the other conferences. But I did just want to show you the drop-down tab and where you can find this, but we will go through these tabs in more detail in just a second. But I did want to note this competitive events here at the bottom. So if you click on that, we have a link to the competitive event guidelines page, which is on the Global National HOSA website. So if you click on that, it'll take you right to the page on Global National HOSA's website. Make sure your students know this page. This is all of the guidelines for the competitive events. So if there's any updates to the competitive events guidelines, it will be posted here. We have 6 competitive event categories. We'll go through those in just a second. Please note that your student members can compete in one regular competitive event, but as many recognition events as they would like. So we'll go through that in just a second as well. So the first listed here is the NGL Cengage Academic Testing Center. These are all test-only events. We do not offer them at our State Leadership Conference. They are offered at the International Leadership Conference. So if your students want to do one of these events, they would have to do it there at ILC. So we do not offer these at our state conference. Secondary and post-secondary collegiate events. So these are our health science events for secondary and post-secondary. We'll get to middle school in a little bit, but they are separate. And all divisions compete separately. So the middle school division competes within the middle school. The secondary and post-secondary compete within each other's division. So here's our health science events. Health professions events, our emergency preparedness events, leadership events, and teamwork events. And then right here in gray are the recognition events that, again, like I had mentioned, your members can compete in one regular competitive event and then in as many recognition events as they would like. If they want to just compete in a recognition event, they can do that. If they want to do both, like I said, they can do that as well, or they can just choose to compete in one regular competitive event and no recognition events. And then here in red are our events unique to middle school members. So the blue events up here are for secondary and post-secondary, and all are offered in both divisions. And then, but middle school in red, these are the events that are only offered to middle school. So there is a smaller list. So you can look through these and have your members look through these if you are middle school, or if you're mixed middle school, high school, and you have middle school members. So just to give you a quick view of what the event guidelines look like, here's biotechnologies. You can look and see, they will, at the bottom of the page, they will put when it was last updated. So just make sure you're looking at that. Most of these of the guidelines are updated. We did receive an email from Global National HOSA the other day that all the updated guidelines so far are posted here. So the other thing I wanted to note is if you go up here to Global National HOSA's website, which again is just hosa.org, and you hover over competition, we do have the general rules and regulations. This is very important for your members to read through. It goes through all of the rules, all of the regulations for competitive events. So eligibility, accommodations, ethics. So please make sure you and your student members are reading through the rules and regulations. I also want to note here the third on this drop down, the competitive event useful tools. Here, this is a really important page because they will have all of their CE updates and changes here. So if you're a returning advisor, you can see you can click on the summarizing key changes to guidelines. It'll have any updates to the guidelines from last year. And then there's also an update summary page as well. If you are a new advisor and really a new chapter, so that your members have not been involved in HOSA before, or if you're a returning chapter and you have new members, I point everyone to this: what competitive event is right for you. There's a middle school version and a secondary and post-secondary version. But it's just a chart that kind of directs by asking questions kind of to what the member might be interested in, and then they answer the certain questions, and then it will kind of lead them to what competitive event might be right for their interest. So that's what this is. And then there are competitive event summaries for each of the categories and each of the events within the category. So you can see which ones are test only. You can see which ones have a test and a skill. So this is very important, a really useful tool. I would highly recommend you looking through it, but also showing your members this as well if they are trying to figure out what competitive event they are potentially interested in. I do want to point out one more thing on Global National HOSA's website. Here on the last drop-down resources, on-demand classroom activities. This page might be of interest to you if you are trying to fit HOSA into your health science curriculum, or if it's not part of your health science curriculum, and you just want some activities to do when your HOSA club or chapter meets. You can go through here and look. There's videos, there's project-based learning, there's a ton of mini lessons. This is a really good resource. So please make sure you're looking through this, and your members as well if you need any assistance with the curriculum or anything else for your chapter meetings. Okay, so we are going to move on to affiliation. So to affiliate, one, you have to have a charter number and password. So if you are on this webinar, is most likely because you do, and you've reached out to us and said that you want to have a HOSA chapter, or you might already have one established, but you do need a charter number and password to log into this system. It is apps.hosa.org. if you have not already viewed it. But this is where you will do your affiliation. This is where you will register for all of the conferences. Pretty much everything that you need to do is in here. One thing is, I get a lot of questions of, well, HOSA's a student-led organization, you know, what's my role? Yes, it is student-led. We want to encourage students to develop those leadership skills, but it cannot function without the advisor. So the advisor is the only person that is permitted to have access to this HOSA system. There's student information in here, so it should not be ever given to any students, especially our post-secondary collegiate chapters. Please do not give this login information to your students. They are not permitted to have access to it. So one of I always say there's three main things that the advisors do. It's the communication between the state office, the regional advisors, and then your members. Registration for our conferences, and then attending the conferences. And then also obviously helping your student members out in whatever way they need. But those are really the three major things. And again, you are the only one who should have and be logged in, unless you have a co-advisor. Now, if you have a co-advisor, that's fine to share this information with, but it should never be given to any members. So if you're planning to affiliate members, you will need to go to this plus sign first, and then it's going to take you, move that out of the way. It's going to take you to this, you read through here. Next step is the chapter information. So some of this might be pre-populated for you, but fill out whatever is not. The faculty, you'll list the primary advisor, you'll list your secondary advisor if you have one, the principal, and then the principal's email. Under communications, you'll put the email where you would like all of the emailed communications to go, as well as the phone number for the chapter, whichever, whoever's phone number you would like to list there for us to call if needed. Any recognition and activities, you will look through here and check. If you are a new chapter, you would check this box, but you can read through those at your leisure. Addresses, the billing address and the shipping address, you will need to put that information in there, and then go to next step, which is the member information. So this first section is entering a new member. All of these fields, I know only a couple of them, 3 of them, first name, last name, and email, have an asterisk, but they are all required except for phone. So you will have to enter all of this information in for any new members. So for member type, you will put whether it's an advisor, collegiate member, honorary life, middle school, professional, post-secondary, or secondary. So you'll choose there. Gender, race, class, that's what grade they're in. First name, last name, and then email. Now we ask, please, to put, some advisors will put their own email in for their student members. Please put in the student's email, their personal email if able. So if they have like a Gmail or a Yahoo or something, it helps us tremendously for our alumni division so that we can contact them once they have graduated. If it's your email, then you'll get those emails. So, and there are some assignments for SLC and ILC that it is beneficial if we have these students' email address. And the reason we ask for the personal one is because obviously with the school email that the students might have, a lot of times our emails will get blocked through those email channels. And then obviously once they've graduated, that email will be no longer. So it helps us out tremendously if you can put their personal email in here. And then you'll just press save. Now, if you have any returning members, you can click here, it'll say show returning members. So if you're a advisor who had a chapter last year, even if you're a new advisor and your chapter was affiliated last year, you can press show returning members, and it will list up at the top any returning members you may have with their information. If they were affiliated last year, should be in the system. So you can just click whoever it may be and update it if there's updates. So like the class, you'll need to update that. And then you can press save. And then if you scroll down right here, now Ron is listed under returning members for the 2024-2025 year. And any new member that you affiliate through this will be listed down here as well. So once you enter everybody in, you will have a long list, I'm sure, under this new and returning members tab. So then you will go to next step, which is demographics. And this is just your chapter demographics information. So total health science education participants, economically disadvantaged, etc. So you can fill that in. And then next step is fees, and it will populate the dues. So it'll show the member type, how many members you have affiliated. Our affiliation dues are $30 for the year. $10 goes to Global National HOSA and $20 goes to Florida HOSA. So it is $30 total per member, whether it's an advisor or a student member. So that will be listed here. If you scroll down, this chapter affiliation agreement, if there's anything that you take away from this webinar, please make sure you read this. The reason I'm saying that is because B right here, which is bolded, members cannot be removed once they have been submitted. So by submitting the application, you understand that there are no deletions or refunds allowed. So when you read through this chapter affiliation agreement and click this box down here, you're agreeing that you are paying, or your chapter, your school is paying for the dues for every person that you have listed up here under total members. So please make sure that you are not affiliating your members until you have their money in hand. Because if you have 40 members that say they're interested and you affiliate all 40, and then only 20 actually want to decide they want to be in HOSA, and you've already affiliated all 40, you're going to owe the amount of affiliation dues for all 40 members, even if 20 of them are only going to participate. So again, please make sure that you are not affiliating your members until you have their $30 affiliation dues in hand. And again, by clicking this little button right here, this little checkbox, you're agreeing to the chapter affiliation agreement, which states that members cannot be removed once they've been submitted. And then down here on the bottom right, submit the application. So that you'll click that and then it will be finalized. If you go back to the main screen, you can then click your account statement. And here you can see what you owe, the amount due. So this will be your invoice for the affiliation dues. One thing I want to note too is you can go back and affiliate. So if you have 20 students that say they're interested and you affiliate those 20 after receiving their affiliation dues, and then you have 5 more students that come to you maybe next week that say, oh, I want to affiliate as well. You can go back and affiliate them. So you can add on to the affiliation. It's not a one-time only thing. But the invoice will show the date that you affiliated and who you affiliated on that date. So I recommend if you affiliate members and you think you are going to affiliate more on a later date, I would recommend not sending in the payment until you have the full affiliation group that you're going to be affiliating. It just makes it easier on Global National HOSA and us really on the fiscal end of things. One thing I want to note, when I'll show you this for the Welcome Back Rally and FLDA, on the top of the account statement on the invoice, in the middle in blue is where you will be sending the payment. Please make sure that you are communicating that with your bookkeeper, because a lot of times the bookkeeper will have HOSA, Future Health Professionals, and then Florida HOSA, and they just select one. And then the payment for our state leadership conference will go to Global National HOSA, and then it's a whole thing. So please just make sure that you are checking where the payment should be sent. For affiliation dues, I know it sounds strange, but all affiliation dues are sent to Global National HOSA. They are not sent to Florida HOSA. Even though $20 comes to us, it is sent to us from Global National HOSA. So please make sure your affiliation dues, which again, this account statement shows that it has Global National HOSA's address listed at the top there on South Lake, Texas. So please make sure that you are sending those affiliation dues to Global National HOSA. The registration fees and the dues for our conferences, those will be sent to either the regional advisors, whatever address they list, or Florida HOSA. But again, all of that information will be posted similar to how it is on here at the top in the middle. So just make sure you're paying attention to that and making sure your bookkeeper understands it. I think that's where sometimes there can be some miscommunication. So again, making sure your bookkeeper knows which one to send it to. But this is how you pull up your invoice for the affiliation dues.
So, excuse me, I got on a little bit late. Which of those addresses are they supposed to send it to, just to make sure?
For affiliation dues, it goes to Global National HOSA. It's listed on the top here in the middle. So any invoice that you have for any of our conferences or affiliation dues, anything like that, regional conferences, where you're supposed to send the payment is always going to be listed up here at the top in the middle.
Okay.
There is an option to pay affiliation dues by credit card. So if you want to do that, you can either call Global National HOSA or you can pay using this button, pay by credit card, for the affiliation dues. Now this will show your balance. So if you affiliate members and then you pay, it'll show a balance of 0, but then if you affiliate more members, it will continue to just show the current balance that you have. And you can see once you make payment, if you look at the account statement right here, like I had just shown, it will show you the payment. So you can track it that way. Okay, so that is affiliation dues. I am going to move on to our welcome back rally and show you information about that. So if you go back to our Florida HOSA website, so flhosa.org, again, this conference is listed second is our welcome back rally. This is new this year. So this is the first time we have ever done an in-person welcome back rally. We have done virtual ones in the past, but we have a partnership with the Florida Panthers, who just won the Stanley Cup championship. They are a hockey team, if you don't know, and we are very excited to be working with them to host this welcome back rally. It will be on October 17th. It is open to all affiliated members and advisors, but also prospective members and advisors. So if you're interested in potentially starting a HOSA chapter at your school, but aren't quite convinced yet, this welcome back rally is open to you as well. It is not open to guest family, just to note that. It is advisors, chaperones, and members only. So it will be held at the Amerant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida, which is the Panthers Arena, on October 17th, starting at 1 p.m. So we're trying to give the morning time for transportation to the venue. So registration check-in will start at 1 p.m. The welcome back rally itself will be from 1:45 to 5 p.m. It will consist of we're calling it a hype session with our state officers, but about an hour with the state officers to go over all of the interesting things we are doing this year and making sure you're aware of all of the conferences and things that we offer to your members. And then the Panthers will be hosting a arena tour after that. So you and your members will be able to go around the arena. They then are going to do an interactive executive panel with members in the community, but also with the Florida Panthers that are involved in healthcare in some sort of way. So that will be from 1:45 to 5. There is an hour break for dinner. Florida HOSA is not providing dinner, but for you to get dinner with your members. And then the gates for the game open at 6. The game will start at 7. So the registration fee is $10 per person, members and advisors and chaperones. That is just for the welcome back rally. That does not include the tickets for the game. That is purchased separately through the Florida Panthers, through Danielle Bodner. She is our contact there that will be handling the ticket purchases for you all. So if you are interested in registering for the welcome back rally, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. But that deadline is September 16th, which is, I know, quickly approaching. We may be extending it depending on registration, but as of right now, it is set for September 16th. Payment and forms must be received in the state office by October 3rd. So if you are interested in purchasing the group tickets for the hockey game in the evening, they are having like a HOSA section. So if you buy tickets, it'll be in the HOSA section so that our whole organization is sitting together. But if you are interested in purchasing tickets for the evening hockey game, you can do so by clicking the link here. It will take you to a form stack that you fill out, and then you'll have communications with Danielle about purchasing the tickets. And the game tickets start at $24 per attendee. So if you scroll down a little bit here, in these blue boxes are important forms. So there is, if you are going to register and attend the welcome back rally, there is an advisor welcome back rally checklist. So here, this just helps you to make sure that you have everything completed when you're sending your registration paperwork to our office. So please make sure you are filling this out if you are attending. And here are the advisor chaperone forms that are also to be sent to the Florida HOSA state office with your full registration packet and payment. It is our advisor chaperone code of ethics, and then the advisor chaperone medical liability release form. You'll get to know these two forms very well because we have you fill them out for every single conference. And Global National HOSA has you do them as well for the International Leadership Conference. So, and then these student forms, which again need to be filled out for every single student and sent to the Florida HOSA state office with your packet. Same thing, a member student code of conduct and a member student medical liability release form. So please make sure that you, if you're going to be registering and attending the welcome back rally, that you're looking at the advisor checklist, the advisor chaperone forms, and the student forms, and submitting all of those together in one mailing with your payment to the Florida HOSA state office. And the checklist has all of that information on there. So where to mail it to and everything, and then and what form of payment you are sending in. So if you would like to register for the welcome back rally, I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go back to the main page and you scroll down, under conferences, you will have all of these tiles listed for the conferences. The welcome back rally is right here. If you click on that. So this is a little bit of a different kind of situation in terms of registration because we are opening it up to prospective members and advisors. So if your chapter is already affiliated, so you've already gone through affiliated yourself, affiliated your members, in this second blue box under registrations, you can click this red plus sign and it will have a list of all of your affiliated members. So if you would like to go through and select whoever is going to be attending the Welcome Back Rally, you will just click register. It will pre-populate what you've affiliated them as. So it will already pre-populate whether it's an advisor, middle school, post-secondary, collegiate, or secondary, if you selected that when you affiliated, which you should have because it's a required field. The contact information will be pre-populated based on what you affiliated them as. Options activities, I will go through that when I discuss FLDA, but there are no options activities for the Welcome Back Rally, so you can just ignore this box. And then there are no competitive events for the Welcome Back Rally either, so you can ignore the competitive events box. And then if you go down here and press save, now it'll take you back to the main page for the Welcome Back Rally registration, and you can see that we've registered Autumn. Now, that's because she was affiliated. If you have members, again, that are prospective members that have not fully committed to affiliating for the year, or you just haven't finalized your affiliation for like you know you're going to have an affiliated chapter, you're going to be the advisor, and you have you have members that have agreed to affiliate and or already given you the money, but you just haven't gone through and affiliated them yet. You can go down here on the bottom right under register family guest other, and you can choose which registration type it is. Again, it is not open to family and guest, but it is open to advisors who are interested in affiliating, chaperones, and then students who are interested in affiliating. So you will put all of the contact information in here. Again, you can ignore the options activities, and then you will press save down here. And when you do that, the person you just registered will show up here under registrations. So again, this is a little bit of a different situation than our other conferences, because for our other conferences, you have to be affiliated. But for the Welcome Back Rally, again, because it is open to prospective members and advisors, you can register if you are not affiliated yet. Down here at the bottom, on the bottom left, under reports, this is very important. You'll click reports. You can see the registration summary, which is important because this has to be sent in with your registration packet that you mail in. So if you click registration summary report, it will show all of the registrations for the Welcome Back Rally and how much is due. You can save it, print it, but you do need to turn it in with your paperwork. And then under reports, again, down here at the bottom left, you can generate an invoice for recent registrations, and this would be what you would give your bookkeeper, and it will have how much is due. And then, like I had mentioned when I talked about the affiliation dues, where you send the payment will be listed up here in the top middle part of the invoice, which the payment is sent to us. It's our conference, so you will send the payment to Florida HOSA, which also is in the checklist, all that information. So that's how you can pull the invoice. Now, if you need to delete somebody, and this will only happen prior to the deadline. So once the deadline passes, the system automatically closes. There are no refunds. There are no cancellations. So if you have registered members and the deadline has passed and then they say they can't attend, the money is due regardless, whether they attend or not, whether your chapter cancels or not. That is a Florida HOSA Board of Directors policy. So no refunds, no cancellations. However, If the deadline has not passed yet, so for the Welcome Back Rally, again, our registration deadline closes at 11:59 on September 16th. So if it's before that and you have registered somebody and you need to delete them, you go back to the main registration page for whatever conference it is. So the Welcome Back Rally, for in this case, you'll click right here on this gray eye. You will scroll all the way down in the bottom left in red, delete registration. And so now we don't have anybody registered. If we go back to reports down here at the bottom left, we can generate another invoice, which will show a $0 balance. Because we obviously had someone registered and then we deleted that registration. So if you accidentally go in and register the wrong person, you can go back in and delete. It will show up on the invoice, but again, after the deadline passes, you cannot go back in and delete. So whatever names are in the system on midnight on the 17th and forward is what is due. And we do place blocks on chapter accounts. So if you have an outstanding balance that we have not received payment for, there will be a block placed on your account until we receive the payment. So you will not be able to affiliate or register new members until that balance is paid. So please make sure you keep that in mind as well. Okay. So the Fall Leadership Development Academy, going to go back to our Florida HOSA website. If you hover over conferences, you can click on FLDA. So our Fall Leadership Development Academy is a smaller conference than our state leadership conference. Usually we have about 200 to 300 people there. It's at Camp Kalakwa in High Springs. And it's at a campsite. So it's a very fun, interactive conference. It's focused on leadership development, as it says in the name. So our state officers really are the ones that kind of conduct the FLDA, and they hold workshops that the members will rotate through. We do a lot of fun activities. We have a campfire. It's a really good time. So if you think your members would be interested in attending FLDA, please make sure you look through our FLDA page. I did send out a memo letter with additional information just a few days ago. If you did not get that information, you can come onto this page on our website. It has all the same information that I sent out. But it will be held Friday, November 15th through Sunday, November 17th. We're excited because normally it's the weekend before Thanksgiving. And so this year it's 2 weekends before. So we're hoping more of our members are able to attend and will be traveling and stuff for the holiday at that point. So just to note again, same with the Welcome Back Rally and all of our other conferences, there are no cancellations or refunds after the deadline. So the online registration deadline for FLDA is October 21st. And the postmark deadline for forms and payment is Wednesday, October 23rd. Usually it's a little bit earlier. We did delay the registration deadline just this year because of the Welcome Back Rally. So usually it's about a week and a half before this. But our registration fee is $125 per person. Florida HOSA does not provide or coordinate the housing. So if your chapter chooses to stay at Camp Kalakwa, you will need to coordinate the housing accommodations yourself. I'll get to more information on that in just a second. Camp Kalakwa is not accepting reservations until September 13th. So if you call before then, they don't have it set up quite yet. So September 13th, you will be able to make housing accommodations for your chapter. So if you scroll down here in the blue boxes, the FLDA 2024 information box, this is a really important box. It has our memo letter, which has information. This was what was emailed out. It has information on our Fall Leadership Development Academy, how many members you can bring. There is a limit, so please make sure you read through this memo letter. We discuss our theme and some of the fundraisers we're doing, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a second. The second file listed is our overnight accommodations information. So again, Florida HOSA is not providing housing accommodations, ourselves. You need to make those through Camp Kalakwa if you choose to stay at Camp Kalakwa. If you choose to stay elsewhere at a hotel, you are allowed to do that, but you are responsible for transportation back and forth to Camp Kalakwa. So here is the overnight accommodation options for the weekend through Camp Kalakwa. We have a link to the floor plans you can look through, and then the 3 options here of reserving your overnight accommodations. We have information about payment, and then how you will check in. Camp Kalakwa will check you in during our registration check-in while we're there on Friday. And please make sure you note right here, all overnight accommodations are non-cancelable after October 16th. So you cannot cancel your reservation. Payment is due, whether you cancel or not after October 16th. We have our online registration instructions. Please make sure you read through here. Again, it shows our $125 registration fee. Now that does include, and this is in the memo letter, but it does include food for Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday morning. But that information is in the memo letter. We have our options and activities, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a second, but all those prices are listed right here. Please make sure that you know this highlighted in red right here. All schools, including post-secondary, and this is for all of our conferences, but all schools must be accompanied by a registered advisor or chaperone. So if you cannot attend, you must have a chaperone in place. We defer to the rules of your school or your school district. Whatever rules you have for advice or for chaperones attending, there's always sometimes a ratio of kids to adults, especially with gender. So please make sure you are familiar and aware with what your school policies are. But our policy is that all schools must be accompanied by at least one registered advisor or chaperone. Then there's more information about our deadline for registration. Again, information about the no cancellations, and then additional information about payment. The second page has the online registration instructions, which will walk you through in written form what I'm about to show you in just a second through our HOSA system. But if you need to ever come back to this and look through, you can read through, and it'll explain how to go about registering for the conference through the HOSA online system. We have our tentative FLDA agenda. This is subject to change as well, but if you want to look through kind of what we do on each of the days, you can look through our agenda. The state officer fundraisers. So our state officers do select fundraisers to raise money for the Florida HOSA Foundation Scholarship. So all money raised through these fundraisers will go to the Florida HOSA Foundation Scholarship, which we accept applications a little bit later in the year. More information will be posted about that. It'll be on our website. I will mention it on later webinars that I do. But these are the fundraisers that these state officers have chosen to do this year. If you've already been to FLDA, you've probably heard about our Pet Pumpkin Palooza, but that is returning again this year. We do, for all of these fundraisers, we do have a pre-order price and then an on-site price. We really encourage everybody to pre-order if they can. It just helps us when we're purchasing the supplies to know how many people want to participate in the fundraisers. And so that way we can order the supplies accordingly. The pet pumpkins and the passport book and the rubber ducks and the t-shirts will be available on site while supplies last. So there are a limited supply of each of these on site, and they are more expensive if you wait to purchase them on site. So that's why we're encouraging everybody to pre-order, but we will be bringing back the Pet Pumpkin Palooza. We will be also bringing back the student passport book that we had last year, with new fun activities as part of that. These state officers design a commemorative long sleeve t-shirt for FLDA. So that will also be available for purchase as well. And then we are doing a new rubber duck race. So if you're new to HOSA, rubber ducks have been kind of involved in all of our conferences the past few years, and the kids love it. So we found some camp ducks this year that we're going to do a rubber duck race with. So they can purchase a single duck or they can purchase all three at the prices listed. So this is the fundraisers, and I'll go through how to sign up for these fundraisers when you're doing the registration. It's part of the options activities section. And then last but not least, we have information on our pin and t-shirt design contest. So we host a contest for our state leadership pin design, and it's the same as our t-shirt design. So information on the pin and t-shirt design contest is on this file. We will be posting it to our social media as well. The deadline for submission is on or before 5 p.m. October 31st. So once all of the designs are received, we have a committee that looks through them, and the top designs are posted to our website and on our social media for our student members and advisors to vote on. So it's up to the rest of Florida HOSA to choose out of the top designs the winner. And then that design will be used for our pin for the 2024-2025 year, as well as our SLC t-shirt. There are criteria, so please make sure your students read through these and know what they are, especially the second one. So our pin and t-shirt design must have the HOSA theme, and this year it's powered by people. The year, which is 2024-2025, and a Florida motif as part of the design. So all the information for that is listed here. Second box, advisor chaperone forms again. So this is a common theme for all of our conferences. There's an FLDA checklist. So similar to the Welcome Back Rally one that I just shared with you, we do have one for FLDA, so please make sure you're reading through this, and it is submitted with your registration paperwork. And then the advisor chaperone code of ethics and medical liability release form, it's the same form that I just showed previously. And then same thing for the student form. It's the exact same form, the code of conduct and the medical liability that needs to be filled out for all of your members that are registered for the conference. Okay, so going into the HOSA system, same thing, similar to the Welcome Back Rally. We have a Fall Leadership Development Academy tile. So you can click on that. And then again, for all of your affiliated members here now, it is not the same as the Welcome Back Rally because this is not open to prospective members or advisors. You must be affiliated. So under registrations, if you again click this red plus sign, it will have all of your affiliated members. Same thing, it'll be pre-populated as you affiliated them. Scroll down, all this should be pre-populated. This second box, which for the Welcome Back Rally we ignored as there weren't any options activities, there are options and activities for FLDA. So if you click here, the options are the 1 rubber duck, the 3 rubber ducks, the passport book, the t-shirts, so you'll just choose which size, and then the Pet Pumpkin Palooza. And then we also offer a regional officer workshop. So here's, and you can choose multiple activities and options. So let's say Autumn wants the 3 rubber ducks and she wants a long sleeve t-shirt. So you can put both of those options here. The price will populate. You can ignore for FLDA the competitive events. There are no competitive events for FLDA. Then you press save. It will take you back to the main registration page, and it will have Autumn's registration, her 2 options and activities for long sleeve t-shirts and the 3 rubber ducks. Now, if you have any chaperones coming, that's where you will use the register family guest other button down here at the bottom right. So if you click on that, there is only one registration type, which is chaperone. So you'll fill all the contact information in there, select any options, activities if they want to participate in any of the fundraisers or the long sleeve t-shirts. And then you'll press save here. And then the chaperone would populate right here within the registrations box. And then again, similar to the welcome back rally, down here at the bottom left, if you click reports, you can generate the registration summary. So it will show the fee, the registration fee, and then the fee for the options and activities that you chose for each student. This again needs to be submitted with your registration paperwork and payment. And then down here again under reports, generate the invoice. This is where everything will be generated and how much will be owed. And again, if you look up here at the top in the middle, that's where the payment will need to be sent, Florida HOSA, because it is our conference. And just one more time too, to remind you, if you do need to delete anybody, you can come back, and it's before the deadline. So before October 21st, because again, after the deadline passes, there are no cancellations, are no refunds. But under the registrations, the gray eye, you click that, scroll all the way down. You can either delete an option or activity right here in this box. You could delete any of those, or you could at the bottom left just delete the entire registration. And then again, if you pull up under reports, the registration summary and the invoice will reflect the deleted member. So that is FLDA. Regional conferences. I want to make a quick note. If you go back to our Florida HOSA website under conferences, at the top, regional conferences, if you click on this, this has a table of all of the regional conferences for 2024, 2025. Regions are able to hold a fall leadership conference and or a winter spring CE conference. The winter spring CE conference is where the students will be competing in their competitive events. The top 3 that place in each event from each region will be eligible to come to this state leadership conference for competition. So the winter spring CE conference is where these students will first compete. But some regions do have a fall leadership conference as well. More information about that will be sent to you by your regional advisors once they have that finalized. So you will be receiving more information from them. If you have questions about the regional conferences, those should be directed to your regional advisor, not to our Florida HOSA state office. Our regional advisors are amazing and coordinate all of these conferences for you. Also, they will be the ones that you'll need to contact if you have questions about anything regional. And they are all listed here. So you can find your region, again, using that regional map if you don't already know what region you are in. And then you can see here, all the regional advisors are listed with their email if you need to get in contact with them. Some of the conferences are already scheduled. If we have the date, it is listed on this table. We update this table as soon as we get the dates from the regional advisor. So just keep checking back here to know when the regional conferences will be held. I will be doing a separate webinar closer to the winter spring regional conference timeframe, prior to the registration deadlines, to go through how to register for a regional conference, because we are limited on time with this webinar, and there are it's a little bit more I would say complicated in terms of registering for competitive events through the HOSA online system. So the box that we kept ignoring that said competitive events for the Welcome Back Rally and for FLDA will be utilized for the regional conferences and the state leadership conference and international leadership conference. So I will be doing a webinar closer to that time frame regarding that. So before we get into the Q&A, just a few things to go back over. Please make sure you're reading the forms, all of the forms, but also any information we have on our website pages thoroughly. Pretty much everything that you need to know is on either in a document on the website or on one of the pages here. So please make sure you're reading through everything thoroughly before reaching out to our state office. We get a lot of emails about questions that could be answered just by looking through the documents and reading the website. So please make sure you're reading through that thoroughly before reaching out to us. Because again, we are a very small office and we do get a lot of emails. So we are always available to help you though. Please don't feel like you can't reach out to us. We will help you out with anything you need assistance with. Again, please make sure there is an advisor or a lead chaperone designated if the advisor cannot attend for all of our conferences, but specifically the Welcome Back Rally and FLDA, like I'd mentioned on this webinar. You can make changes to the online registration up until the deadline. So again, remember that you can go through, you can delete registrations if need be, but it has to be done before the listed deadline. After the listed deadline and the registration system closes for that conference, everything is final and payment is due. And again, there will be a block placed on the account if we do not receive payment. And then please just make sure you are sending your payment with your registration packet and paperwork all together in one. If possible, we do know there's sometimes some struggles with the bookkeeper or district approval and things like that. If that happens, please notify me as soon as possible. We are willing to work with you if we know. We need to know ahead of time. So please make sure if you are struggling with getting the payment by the time you're mailing all of your registration paperwork, that you reach out to me as soon as possible so we can work through that. But all payments must be received. If you do have any sort of issues like that, all payments must be received before the conference. If the payment is not received before the conference, you will not be able to attend and check in at the registration check-in. I think that's it in terms of what I wanted to go through and cover. I am going to open it up to questions now for the Q&A. I'm sure there's some questions that came in through the chat. I got some direct messages, so I'll answer those. So are family members allowed to attend just the hockey game portion? I do believe so. I believe she was going to set up some type of family friend link. So check with Danielle for the Welcome Back Rally. She's with the Florida Panthers. She's the one doing all of the ticket sales. So please check with her. She'll be able to direct you on that. I do believe, though, in talking with her prior, that I'm not sure the guest family members will be able to sit in the HOSA section. So please confirm with her on that. I'm not 100% certain. But I also do want to note for the Welcome Back Rally, you must attend the Welcome Back Rally itself to be able to purchase the tickets. You know, aside from being a guest family. I also want to note too, in terms of regional conferences, regional dues. So some regions have a regional due, some for the year, some regions have a regional conference fee, but those should all be sent to either the regional advisor or whoever they deem as the person to send that payment to. So again, please make sure you're noting who that is at the top of the invoice. So for the regional conferences, that will be noted there. And again, there will be a webinar closer to that time to show you how to register for the regional conferences. I'm getting a couple questions about attire for certain competitions. Please make sure you refer to the guidelines. The guidelines are very specific in what's required. And if you are still unsure, we do on our website, there is a link for the dress code policy. So make sure you're looking at that to decipher what would be appropriate and what would not be appropriate. On our dress code policy poster, there are pictures, so it's pretty helpful. So I would refer to the dress code policy and the guidelines for anything having to do with attire. Are there any specific vendors that sell the uniforms? So Awards Unlimited, you can purchase the official HOSA uniform through Awards Unlimited, but you don't have to have the official HOSA uniform. They can have a navy blue or black suit as well, and still be following the dress code policy. Are there any questions that anyone else has? I just went through all of my direct message questions. But if there's any questions that any advisors have, please speak now.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Long time no see.
I know.
Hi. So new year. I just want to reiterate, or I'm going over this stuff again. So I see that for state dues is 20, national dues are 10, and then there's the region dues that are 10. So in total, the students will have 40 in total to cover all of those.
If that's, yes, for your region specifically, if the dues are $10, then yes, it would be 40. But remember that the dues are sent separately.
Right.
So
It'll be going to either or whoever is for charter for us.
yeah, so for the affiliation dues, the $30, it's going to go to Global National HOSA. Then the regional dues will go to wherever the regional advisors have noted that those fees should go to. Usually it's one of the schools. So yes.
And then the last one, because you answered the other two. Do we have a confirm? I might have missed it when I stepped out for a bit. Do we have a confirmed round 1 date, November 1st or 2nd? So that way I can start with the field trip forms?
What do you mean?
Okay, so there's round 1 and round 2 for competitive, but
Jackie, I think she's specifically talking about a regional conference, not state or national.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I should have been more clear about it.
It's okay. So for regional conferences, if you haven't received information from your regional advisors yet, it's probably because they just haven't finalized the dates.
Ah, okay.
So the regional conference, the winter spring CE conference, those
Ah,
dates will
okay.
be posted to that table
Okay.
that I showed. If you go to our Florida HOSA website under conferences, the first in the drop down is regional conferences, so you can keep checking back. But as soon as they get that date for the regional conference, and it will have, if they're doing online testing, that date will be listed on there as well. So just keep checking back on that table if you haven't gotten a date from them yet.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
They can also reach out to the regional advisor, Angelica, if you need to.
Okay. Thank you, lady. Nice seeing you too.
You too.
I love this question. Is the dress code upheld? Many females at ILC wore tank tops with a blazer or a white non-collared shirt under their blazer. We've always said white collared shirts for females. The dress code is upheld, especially at SLC. So the students will not be able to compete. Well, they'll be able to compete, but it'll be noted that they're not in dress, and that will be docked for them in terms of points, but we will not allow them on stage to get their award if they are not in dress. And we are very strict about that because ILC is very strict about that. And so we always follow what Global National HOSA does. And so, yes, the dress code is upheld and it is strict in terms of being able to get on stage. Any other questions? Wow, no more questions? I'm shocked. Mandy, Lloyd, do you have any questions that came through on your end that might be helpful for other people to know?
No, all the questions I saw were answered.
Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't have any direct questions.
Will the conference be at the same location this year as last year?
For the State Leadership Conference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it will be April 3rd through the 6th at the Marriott Orlando World Center again.
And then the hotel reservations and everything that's accessible through all the paperwork that you showed us, where to get it on the website, correct? In Florida State.
Correct. So we'll have the hotel reservation information posted to our State Leadership Conference page on our Florida HOSA website. Usually that's not posted until after winter break. So the beginning of January is when all that information will be posted. I've already been getting questions about hotel reservations for SLC based on just last year. And I mean, we've grown so much. Our hotel contracts are done 5 years in advance. So the past couple of years, the hotel contracts were done during COVID when we didn't know we would be this large after COVID, which we're thankful and grateful for, but it has had some challenges in terms of the hotel reservations. Our block at the Marriott is larger this year, so hopefully we'll have more people. But if we have the same amount of people as last year, we will most likely need an overflow hotel again. So I have been getting a lot of questions about SLC hotel reservations. Those are not yet open. We do not usually start those reservations until January. Any other questions?
Jackie,
Okay.
did you see the question in the chat? With budget restrictions and being a prospective advisor, which one competition should my students register for to start?
Well, I would probably say, and Lloyd, I'll let you speak to it as well. I would probably say maybe one of the test only competitions, because you really wouldn't have, you don't have to do a skill. So that's with the skills, the competitive events that have the round 2 skills, a lot of times you will need more supplies for those events. So that's probably what I would say. I would also look into fundraising as well. Just as a side note, we do have a lot of chapters that have had some really neat, innovative ideas for fundraising and have paid their way through regionals and onto states. And some of them even ILC by doing fundraising. So for budget restrictions, that's also what I would recommend. Our state officers are doing, one of their goals this year is to promote more fundraising that has been successful in Florida HOSA at different local HOSA chapters. So they will be promoting fundraising ideas as well throughout the year. So keep a look out for that. Yes, someone and Angelica said medical terminology. So yeah, that is a perfect example. That's what I would recommend, that probably the test only events, if you're looking at budget restrictions and need assistance that way. So Lloyd, do you have anything to add?
Just ditto. Now that excellent explanation, and yes, I would certainly agree with the health science category. Test only events would probably be the best place, and then just let it snowball from there after or in succeeding years.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll give you guys back 10 minutes. Oh, Trisha.
Hi, Jackie. No, I was
Hi.
just thinking, hi. I was just thinking in my head about budget restrictions and what events to do if you or if the club or the members didn't have a lot this year, for whatever reason. Even some of I would stay away completely from any hybrids. But a performance only that doesn't require a book to study from also might be good for clubs that are just getting started, like the public speaking events, where you don't need a lot of you don't need to purchase a textbook and you don't need to purchase a lot of supplies for presentations. Some of those events might also be helpful for clubs that are just getting started.
This is a good note that's in the chat. Keep in mind, you can only enter 3 students in each event. So that's something else to think about, is that, yeah, we're only going to take the top 3 from the regional level. The top 3 is eligible to move on to states. So just keep that in mind when your students are picking their competitive event and which competitive event they want to participate in, that they would be, if they're in the same local chapter, that they're going to be competing against each other. There's some good comments in the chat about fundraising too. So blood drives, chocolate bars. So, and again, keep a lookout because the state officers will be sending out potential, successful fundraisers that have worked at other local chapters around the state in previous years, that for suggestions for local chapters. We get that question a lot of fundraising and what fundraisers can be done to help with the cost. So keep a lookout for that. That'll be posted on social media. They're going to be doing it in order of regional roll call. So once they get the submissions back from each of the regions, they'll be posting it to social media. Any other questions before we hop off? Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, go
Hi.
ahead.
Hi. You'd mentioned earlier that people could participate in only one competitive event, but then as many leadership events as they want to participate in. Is there a fee for them to participate in each leadership event? Do they have to pay to participate in those?
So so first off, just for clarification, I'm going to share my screen one more time. Just because I don't want there to be confusion about this. So under the guidelines, there's 6 categories, but recognition events is one of the categories. But so health science, health professions, emergency preparedness, leadership, and teamwork. Those are the 5 categories that they can only choose one event. So I just didn't want there to be confusion because you said leadership.
Okay,
category.
sorry about that. Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay. No, it's totally fine. I just didn't want there to be any sort of confusion. So those are the 5 categories that you can only pick one event to compete in, and then recognition events here in the gray. Those as many recognition events as they would like. And again, they can just do recognition events if they want. They don't have to do a competitive event, or they can do both or not do any recognition events. But in terms of the registration price per event, so that would be included in the the registration fee. So if the regional conference has a regional conference registration fee, you would sign up in the regional conference tile. Again, I'll go through that in a separate webinar, but that would be included in the conference fee. Same thing for the state leadership conference. When you go in to register for the state leadership conference and they're paying the registration fee, that includes the one competitive event if they've been eligible from the regional conference for the state conference, and then same thing from states to the international leadership conference. One thing also to note is that I had mentioned we don't do at the state level those NGL Cengage tests at our state leadership conference, but they are offered at the international leadership conference. Those are an extra fee. Just to note that, I'll talk a little bit more about that as time gets closer to ILC and I do a webinar before that. But just to note that there is an extra fee for those test events, the NGL Cengage ones. But again, we do not offer those at the state level.
Jackie,
Thank you.
if you can put the guidelines page back up.
Sure.
There are 3 recognition events that we do not run, and there's 1 leadership event that we do not run. So if you scroll down to leadership category, or up, I'm sorry, scroll up. We do not do the organizational leadership one because that event has to do with voting delegates, and we use our by board policy, we use our state officers as our voting delegates. But then if you scroll down to the recognition, we do not do the last 3 either. HOSA achievement is for state only events, which we don't have any. Outstanding HOSA alumni, Jackie would nominate anyone possibly for that one. And then outstanding HOSA leader is always a state officer. So those 3 recognition events are not open to chapters.
And one other thing to note, thank you, Lloyd. One other thing to note is not all regions offer all of the competitive events. So that's the other thing. Some regions may not offer some of the competitive events at the regional level. We do offer all of the competitive events at the state level, minus the ones that Lloyd just mentioned. So that's just something to note too, and your regional advisor will have information on that. And you know, just in case anyone's wondering why, a lot of times it's just based on space and the venue, and if they are able to get enough volunteers to come help judge, things like that plays a part in being able to offer all of the events or not. Any other questions? All right. Well, We will have this posted to our website within the next couple of days under that advisor teacher resources tab, if you need to refer back to it. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to help you in any way. We know that it can be quite overwhelming for new advisors. There's a lot of information, but just please, if you have any questions or need assistance, let us know, and we're happy to help you and work with you. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a great night, and I look forward to working with all of you this year.